Okay. What's up, everybody? What's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. The instrumental to that song is KRS-One. I am an old school hip hop junkie, so most of my music is gonna always be something from the old school era. I say probably late 70s, early 80s, and early 90s. After that, I kind of fell out of love with hip hop, especially with hip hop today. What's up? Good morning, Ennoble One. Thank you for coming in. Social Mediator TV, I appreciate you for coming in as well. Big ups to everybody who was able to make it into my live chat this morning. Um, Definitely want to give honor and respect to Martin Luther King, who paid the wave for us. I definitely am so grateful that back then, even though you know Black Americans were so defeated, and they didn't have rights, they didn't have the same privileges as other races did, and I'm so glad that somebody had the courage to stand to fight for us. And I'm so grateful for it. I don't take it for granted. Had it not been for people like Martin Luther King, who was brave and strong enough to go against the odds, knowing that he was going to die, knowing his life was on the line, fighting for our freedom, and knowing that he was putting his life on the line, and there was a chance that his children was going to lose a father, that his wife was going to lose a husband, but he had a bigger vision in mind, and his vision was to one day um have fix it to where all of us would be free, and all of us would be able to um fellowship with other races, even sit down to the same table with other races. So I'm telling you, don't take your freedom for granted. You don't know what our ancestors had to go through. They paid the price. A lot of y'all don't even understand what they had to go through to make things for us the way they are today. Be grateful that you can walk into the movies and sit where you want to sit at. Be grateful you can go into a restaurant and sit where you want to sit at. Be grateful that you can go to any school, any college, any university you want to go to. I'm telling you, it's the little things, and it's just saddens me when I see all this black violence and blacks killing one another because our ancestors did not pay the price for us to, be doing each other the way that we do. But it's one of those things, unfortunately, that some people are just gonna have to learn for themselves. But I definitely want to definitely honor Martin Luther King for his birthday, and definitely let him know that I am, for one, very grateful, and I don't take none of our blessings for granted. So definitely, I thought I would acknowledge Martin Luther King Jr. first and foremost. But without any further ado, what's up, Sadia? How you doing? Like I said, I definitely love Martin Luther King, but it's too cold for me to do parades. We have a parade here in Savannah, and it's just too cold. I'm not going outside. I can't do it. I don't get along with cold really well. So anyway, I'm home in my jammies, and doing my little doing my my little forum this morning. But definitely I got to give props to the king for blessing us to have the privilege to just be free. Y'all don't understand what they had to go through. I would also advise y'all, if you can, definitely go to your local black museums. I'm telling you, it is an eye opener. When you see all of what your great great grandmothers and great great grandfathers had to go through, I advise you to go to your local black museum. Take your grandkids with you. Please teach your children some history. Don't let your children be blind and ignorant to the past. Teach them where they come from, so they learn not to take their blessings for granted. Me and my husband went to the Black Museum in Atlanta, and I say it was very touching. It made my husband cry, and he's not the kind of man. He's not a crybaby like that. But just to see what other black men had to go through, it was something. One little thing they did, they put us in this. They put us at this bar, like we was getting ready to sit down and eat, and I thought it was very interesting. They made us sit down, me and my husband, in this museum. Because we went last year. It's like a Black History Museum in Atlanta. I don't know the name of it. They made us sit down to the bar, okay? And the gentleman that was standing there, he told me and my husband to put on some headphones, okay? So my husband sits on one stool, I sit on the next stool, right? So we sit down, and the man told us to put our hands flat on the table and to not move our hands. So I'm like, okay, this is strange, but I went along with it. So I put my hands on the table, and he placed the headphones on my head. And I promise y'all, the headphones was playing sounds of people of other races basically calling me every name but the child of God. And to make things more intense, I noticed my stool kept moving as I was sitting on it, like somebody was pushing on me. And the crazy part about it was showing us what our ancestors went through. Having those headphones on my head, being cussed at, being called the N word, saying, you know, nigga, you not wanted. Get out of here, get the F out of here. Just to sit there and be disrespected like that, and I felt my stool moving like somebody was kicking my damn stool. And I felt at that moment what our ancestors went through. I'm like, damn, they couldn't even sit down and have a cup of coffee, without somebody, just harassing them and just taunting them. And I felt just so terrible because it just was just to be there. It's just one of those things you will have to be there to see what I'm talking about. And to hear them screaming at me, the dogs was barking at me. I mean, my husband literally cried on that. I saw a tear come down his eye. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just it's something else. It would really open your eyes up to so much. So if you can, take your kids to the library. Like Social said, take them to a Black History museum in your area. I promise you, it is so worth it. If you gone through something right now, whether if it's your bills, whether if it's things in your marriage, whether financially, let me tell you something. You go to that museum and you experience that, it'll make you count all your blessings. Like, you know what, God, I'm going through, but I thank you. I give you the praises no matter what. But yes, a noble one. It was very, very intense. Very, very heart-wrenching. It was an experience I will never forget. It will forever follow me. And I now I really realize what our ancestors have gone through. But definitely getting on to today's content, I just wanted to give respect to Martin Luther King. He is the real MVP. Had it not been for him, we wouldn't have the luxuries of freedom that we have now. So I got to give honor to him. And I thank God for blessing us with a man that had the courage to fight for us and to stand for us, because we wouldn't have the things that we have now. So I want to give Martin Luther King all the praises. Now, getting on in today's content, I thought it was very imperative that I shared this particular content today, because it is just very unfortunate. Let me see this video in, because I want to see, stop the video. Let me see. Look like do I got two of these damn things open? Okay, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, okay, I'm assuming everybody out there can hear me. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with the content about sons are becoming the new substitute for husbands. The reason I state this, I actually was on a live panel last night with the information man, LMP. It was his channel, and he had brought us all onto his um live panel, and it was very interesting that we talked about different things within the Black community, and somehow in some way we ended up talking about issues of in the Black community among single mothers. Now, this is not to say, what's up, TMEC? Now, this is not to say, I'm gonna make sure I put this out here, this is not to say that all Black single mothers are troubled women. This is to state that simply that there are a lot of Black single mothers that are unfortunately not really understanding that they are creating their sons to be burdens to society. Basically, they're creating their sons, they're setting their sons up for failure, because what they're doing, what I'm starting to notice, that a lot of single mothers in the Black community, not all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply, but a lot of these single moms, when there's no fathers in the home, they basically allow their sons to take that role of being the man in the house that leads everything. Now, this is not to say that is necessarily a terrible thing. If I'm going to say something positive about it, I'll start off with the positive things about allowing your son to lead. It does teach him leadership skills. It does prepare him for certain skills and abilities that it takes to be not only a leader but a husband and a father. It also teaches the son how to be responsible in a sense. So if you're allowing your son to lead as far as teaching him how to be responsible, I don't think that's a bad thing, as long as you don't give him too much authority. Unfortunately, some of these women within the Black community that are single mothers, they're giving their sons way too much authority due to the fact that there is not a man in that household. And to fill in that gap, And so she does not feel like she's alone, and she does not feel like she is by herself. She will allow her son to basically be the substitute husband by letting him call the shots. Basically, she gives him these manly responsibilities. She got him keeping the kids. She got him basically doing everything that a husband is supposed to do. To the point to where it can get so far out of hand. If she's not careful, he will even get to dictate who she could be with. And it's a lot of black women, unfortunately, that are paying the price for that right now. What's up, Ms. Riam? I turned my son into her husband. Oh, yes, it definitely goes on a lot. Absolutely, social media, responsible for her bills. Absolutely. And the sad part is these young men that are in this situation, these substitute husbands, because that's what I'm calling these sons to some of these single black mothers, these substitute husbands, um, unfortunately, there's so much burdens are placed on them at such a young age, as it was mentioned in here. They're paying the bills, they're helping with the children, and it's gotten to the point to where it's somewhat disturbing because I get this incestuous vibe, due to the fact that when I go on social media, I will see these women bragging about their sons like their sons are their husband. My boo, my man crush Monday, my man crush Wednesday. And I'm like, that doesn't sit too well with me. When I hear a woman bragging about her son like he's her husband, it just doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't sit well with me. Because basically to me, it just is a strong indication of how lonely she is, that she has to depend on her son for everything. And the bad part is, I feel sorry for these men, these young men who have become their mother's husbands, because when they want to move on and get a woman in their life, they want a relationship, they want to get married. These are the same mothers, and I hear a lot of women complain about this all the time. It's a lot of black women that are constantly complaining about their husbands still have to cater to their mama. And it's a very unfortunate, because it puts men like this in a bad position, because he feels so obligated to his mother. But at the same time, eventually he's going to want a wife of his own. Even if he doesn't want to be married, he's going to want a woman of his own. He's going to want a relationship of his own. And this woman, thank you, I appreciate it, y'all. And this woman, that's his mother, she's basically held her son hostage and captive to being there for her and only her. And this puts him, not only him, at a disadvantage, it puts the women who want to be with him at a disadvantage. Because the truth of the matter is, you cannot please two women at one time. And I'm sure any man who has been in this position understands that. You cannot make two women happy. You cannot make the wife happy and the mama happy. There's got to be a balance, especially if both of them are dependent on you for the same purpose. Now, it's one thing to look out for your mom here and there. Mom get in the bind, you pay a bill here or there. You're her son. That's your mother. If you love her, of course you're gonna look out for her. You're not gonna let your mama sit in the dark. You're not gonna let your mother, water bill get turned off and she can't take a bath, things of that nature. Especially when you never had a father and she never had a husband there. That's going to make you even more obligated. But at the same time, when you're doing so much for your mother that is causing problems in your household, you have to be very mindful of that. That you don't allow all of what you do for your mom to affect your household. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but the Bible tells you once you leave home and you're married, you become as of one with your wife. Your wife becomes your priority. Your children become your priority. But what do you do when you're in a situation where your mom does not have another man there to pay her bills, to back her up, to support her? And I see, unfortunately, a lot of men are dealing with this. And believe it, and I understand, it's a lot of black men that are under a lot of pressure, more than black women could ever realize. including myself. What's up, underrated darkness? I appreciate you for coming in. It's a lot of black men that are under pressure because they're still taking care of their mothers. They're trying to be husbands and fathers for their own family, and on top of that they still have to take care of their mama, and it's just so many factors that tie into this, and if you're not careful you can find yourself between a rock and a hard place. But needless to say, I know I'm digressing, I'm speaking more so to this new school generation, these young women, these women that are under 40 years old, basically, well, I'll say under 50 maybe, and they are making their sons their husbands. You are allowing your son to run your house. You are allowing your son to call the shots because you don't have a man in your household. You don't have a husband in your household. So you use your son to as a replacement to fill in that void so you don't feel lonely and you don't feel like you're by yourself. Now the bad part with that, ladies, for you single moms who are doing this, you are wholeheartedly depending on your sons to take the place of a husband and fill in the gaps of the husband. The bad thing about that is you put yourself at a disadvantage as well, because when you get in a relationship and you want to be with a man, because let's face it, you're a woman, you got needs, okay? That's as appropriate as I can say it without saying it inappropriately. As a grown woman, eventually you're going to want a man of your own, okay? I mean, I know right now you may not feel that way. You may be in your bitter black woman mode and feel like, I don't need no man right now. I don't want no man right now. You may be in that phase for right now. But sooner or later, if you're not in denial and if you're not lying to yourself, sooner or later, you're going to run into a man somewhere down the line. You are a woman. You got needs. You want to be wanted. You want to be desired. You're going to want a man, okay? I mean, you can tell anybody else that, but I'm a woman and I know better, all right? At some point, you're going to want a man. And what's going to happen, because I've seen it happen, you've allowed your son to go so long running your household that when you do get in a relationship and you do get a man, things get deep, things get serious. You and this man decide to take your relationship to the next level. And what's going to happen is when things get deep, sooner or later, this man may end up moving into your home, which I wouldn't recommend a man to do that. If you're dealing with a woman who has a son and he's over, I would say 10 years old. Hell, these days, if he's over 5 years old, 5-year-olds, because these 10-year-old boys got minds like they 16. If you're dealing with a woman and she has a son over 5 years old, 9 times out of 10, she's made that son the man of that house. Okay. And most likely that young man has seen his mom go through a lot. He's probably seen different men coming in and out the house. So it's a part of him. He may not have a trust for men. So if you do come around, he may not be feeling you because of that, because he done experience mama change more men than she changed hair colors. Okay, so it's going to be a part of him that's going to be skeptical of you, because for one, he may feel like you may not stick like the other 8 or 9 have. And see, this is the part that a lot of these women will not be honest to prepare you for when you're dealing with her. She's not going to tell you, I've been in several relationships. So my son, my daughter is used to men coming and going. So don't be surprised if my daughter or my son starts off a little disrespectful or mean towards you because they've seen too many men come and go out of my life. Ain't no woman going to be honest and say that. Okay? She's not going to prepare you for what's really going on. She's going to bring you up in there and you're going to be like a deer in the headlights because you're not going to understand why this young man has an attitude towards you. You're not going to understand why he's so disrespectful, may not even acknowledge you when you go over to her house just to visit. He walked right past you in her living room and not say a word, because you have to realize she didn't prepare you for the truth. And I'm not saying all Black women do this, but some Black women just have the tendency to give soap operas, to give sympathy stories. They're not going to tell you what they did. Is automatically going to be what the other person did. You're gonna basically be like an innocent bystander, and you're not walking into a situation and clueless and not having no clue as to what's going on. And the thing about it, like I said, if he's seen different men come and go, he's gonna be skeptical of you. Another thing is, maybe there was a boyfriend who was stable, or there was a father in a home who had been there for a long time, but that father was very abusive. So, in his mind, he probably had to see his mom get her ass whooped a lot, and probably as a young man, he probably couldn't really defend his mom. He probably really couldn't come to her rescue. So it's because of issues like that. These substitute husbands are not gonna like you as a man, with you trying to get their moms, or you moving in to their mom's crib. So if you meet a woman who has a son and he's over 5, I suggest you don't move into her crib. I don't think it's a good look. I don't think it's a good idea, because he has gotten used to running that territory, and that's not his fault. That's her fault, because just because you're a single mom, that does not condone you allowing your son or your daughter to disrespect you. Even if you allow your son to take on certain roles and have certain responsibilities, that still do not give him the right to run all over you because you're a single mother. Looking at y'all comments, Mocha, check out Javon Michael Clark. He also spoke about how women have issues with their mothers as the daughter, female friend. Absolutely a noble one. I agree. A lot of my old content that I did, I speak on all of that as well. But I'm definitely going to check him out, because I'm on the same page with him. It's a lot of this going on in the Black community, and we want to sweep this under the rug. We don't want to talk about it, and that's very true. Anthony, I believe, remember, it's the dudes who will later complain about who they. Absolutely, Anthony, and that's the part I'm getting ready. That's the part I'm going to go into. That's the absolute truth. It's a lot of Black women, not all. Let me back that up. Some Black women. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Let it fly. Some Black women will create these monsters. They will give these young men too much authority over their household. And then when these young men get out of control, these monsters that they create, they don't want to be bothered with the monster that they have created. I've seen that happen 1,000 times. TMEC says, facts, a lot of women don't slowly ease the man in. Introductions need to be slow. Usually the child wakes up and sees a stranger. Absolutely. 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 And single women, a lot, some of them just reach this stage of desperation. And they're so afraid that if they don't take on the first offer, meaning the first man that's willing to smile on her face and show his teeth, they feel like if they pass it up, they're going to be alone all over again. So they will gravitate towards the first man that gives them attention and not give it a second thought. They will move these men into their homes, and they don't smoothly they basically, they don't make the transition smooth for the child to be able to accept the fact that she's potentially going to be in a relationship with this new man. That's very true. It's been children who have woken up in their household and see their mother move Bobby in. Okay. And Bobby comes in and he's very territorial. Now, my thing is this. I said in one content, I'll say it before. I got a problem with a man who's quick to move in with a woman who has children. I got a problem with that. That's not a good look. That shows me that you are just as desperate as her. If you a grown ass man and you willing to move in a woman's house and you don't know her like that with her children, either you an undercover pedophile or you a bum dude. That's the way I see it. I'm just being frank. Something ain't right with that. You shouldn't want to move in with a woman that got a bunch of children and none of those kids ain't yours. That's a sign of weakness. I don't respect a man who will move in with a woman. I only know her for a couple of days because he met her for social media or he met her in the club somewhere, and he moving his duffel bag up in there. I got a problem with that. You either an undercover pedophile, you a bum, or you a user. It's one of the three you are. You know what I mean? I got a problem with that because no real man who has any dignity and pride, he's not going to move in with a woman and her children. Now, what he will do, if he's been with her long enough and they're vibing, they're connecting, things are getting serious. If he is smart, if he's a smart man, what he'll do is if he wants to be with her and he understands her situation, he's willing to be stepdaddy, he's willing to take over the next man's baggage or burdens. May the force be with them. But what he'll do is he'll get his own place, a place that's big enough for her and her children. And then he will allow let the woman come to where he is. That way he has more control over the situation. That way, if that little Negroid get out of control, he could say, I pay the rent here. My name is on the mortgage. You can get out. If you can't respect me being a man of this household, understand, young man, before I came along, you had to do it all. You had to be the man of the house. But now that I'm here, you can just enjoy being a young man and living your life. You don't have to take on that role anymore. Now, again, this is only for the man who wants to be with a single mother. Now, I get a lot of men will not deal with a woman who has children. And believe me, I get it. I understand. I don't knock nobody's preference. I'd rather a man be honest and say, I don't want to date a woman with children. I don't want to date a single mother. I'd rather you be honest than to move in with these women, knowing you don't like kids, knowing you don't want to be responsible for these children, and you hurt their child, you rape their child, or you do something bad to their child. So for the single mothers who get offended and say, I don't know why a man should have a problem with my children. Why men don't want to date single mothers, why men are against single mothers. I would rather him be against dating you than to lie to you and deceive you, move up in your house and hurt your children. So I can respect that. I'm not coercing nobody in this chat room to go against their principles. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody in here thinking I'm telling you you need to date a single mother. I'm not telling you not to date one. I'm just telling you what the hell what you're going to be facing in the event you deal with one. That's just my job. That's just all I'm doing. I ain't trying to make you be for single mothers. I ain't trying to make you go against single mothers. You your own man. That's your choice. Okay? As I was stating, if you decide to be with a woman on that level, because I've had guys email me and tell me they're in a relationship with a woman who got kids, but the son is disrespectful, the daughter is disrespectful. If you move in on their turf, they're going to be disrespectful because that's their turf. That's like you moving in something you an American and you going to freaking Afghanistan, you on their turf, and you trying to tell them, you trying to apply the rules that you used to in America on their land. That's not going to happen. Yes, Anthony, that's exactly what they call it. Very true. So as a man, if you're going to deal with a woman who has children, don't move on their turf. Don't move in her house. Don't move in her apartment. And if anything is very important before you make a move that big, you need to analyze how her children handle her. If her son handles her like she's Stevie from The Color Purple, if her son, you know, like the Ike Turner her and give her a backhand smack, you don't want to be with a woman who got no control over her children. Okay? It's not worth the aggravation. It's not worth you losing your sanity and your peace of mind. And it go both ways. I'm a stepmom. You know, I when I met my husband, I didn't have children. He did. You get what I'm saying? So, I was in a position of being a step parent, and it go both ways. You don't want to deal with a man who. Same thing for my ladies. You don't want to deal with a man that has children who disrespect you. I mean, who first of all, who disrespect him. If when let me just say this to everybody. What's up, Detorian? If you are dealing with a man or a woman who has children who disrespect them, you don't want to be with them. I'm telling you that now. Don't be with them. Do not be with them. Period. If you cannot discipline your own children and they run all over you, I know they're not going to respect me. Exactly. And Detorian is supposed to go both ways. We all have to respect each other's preferences. But single mothers, you cannot get mad if a man don't want to date a woman with children. That's his preference. You don't have to name call him and call him all kind of names and say you just not a real man. You ain't strong enough to handle a woman like me. No, he just don't want your baggage. And despite contrary to what many may think, it's women out there. We don't want to deal with a man that got a bunch of damn kids because I'm one of them. I never dealt with a man who had children. Now, so happened, because I'm gonna be honest, my husband had children. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have any baby daddies. I didn't have none of that when I met my husband. Only brought myself. And I was very skeptical about getting with him. I did not want a man with kids. Just like there's men out there who don't want women with children, it's women out there we don't want your ass either if you got a bunch of kids. Don't believe me, it go both ways, you know. And I was the kind of woman I never wanted to deal with a man who had kids because I knew all the drama and chaos that comes with it. And you know, I know the baby mama drama. I heard about all of that. You feel me? And when I met my husband, and you know, me and him had vibe and we had connected so smoothly. Unfortunately, the guys who didn't have kids, I couldn't connect with them jokers for nothing. What's up, Sister Crystal? Men who didn't have children, I was trying to go for a man who did not have kids. I did not want a guy with kids. I did not want one. I did not. But the guys who didn't have children, we could not connect. And it's like that sometimes, y'all. Sometimes your type ain't going to work for you. You get what I'm saying? You can sit up here and have all these stipulations for what kind of man you want and what kind of woman you want. Your type ain't going to always want you. Your type don't always want you. I had a type that I wanted. And my types was not checking for me. It's like that sometimes. You know, you can have all these, oh, I want this kind of man. He got to have this kind of credit. He got to look like this. Yo, I'm telling you, none of my types, I was a date type. Ain't that a bitch? Them dudes was not feeling me. I'm like, this is the perfect guy. He has no kids. He has good credit, a good job. That dude was not checking for me. He was not feeling your girl Mocha. I mean, it is what it is. Your type don't work for you sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. So get the stigmas out your behind about what kind of man and what kind of woman, because that don't mean that your kind might not see you as their kind. I'm just being frank. Let me see. Somebody in here said, what made you change your mind about dating a man? You mean like, you mean dating my husband who had children? You mean like are you referring to that Crystal? What made me change my mind with him? I was trying to make sure I understand your question. That's me right now as a woman with no kid. I don't want to date. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Men act like they're the only one who don't want somebody with a bunch of kids. I ain't never wanted no single father either. You know, I ain't never wanted no man with a bunch of kids, you know, either, you know, but it just so happened I ended up connecting with a man who had kids. It just, I mean, that's just life. It took me years to understand that. Sometimes what you consider your soulmate is not your soulmate. So sometimes your soulmate is the complete opposite of what you have in mind. You know, sometimes as women, we can be influenced by other women. You need this kind of man, and this is the kind of man you're supposed to date, and this and that, and why you want a man with kids. But my thing is, if y'all are connecting, and the connecting is mutual, you're gonna find a way to make that work. You know, like I said, I was with guys who did not have children, but we could not vibe. There was no connection. They did not want a relationship. They were not into me the way I was into them. So that was the problem. Yes, what made you change your mind about that? Oh, what ended up making me change my mind was the fact that being that my husband, honestly, when I met my husband, it'll be 19 years come March 11th since I've been with my husband. We've been married for 16 and we've been together for 19 years. And what made him different, despite the fact that he already had been previous married and had children, when I met him, his daughters were 2 and 3 years old. And I was very skeptical. When I seen them car seats in the back of his car, I'm like, ah, hell no. This ain't about to work here. I seen goddamn what toys from McDonald's from the Happy Meals on the back seat of the floor. I was like, dude, really? You gonna pick me up in your goddamn family van? Bruh. Oh my god, it wasn't funny then, but it's funny now. Um what made me change my mind as far as my preference, the thing was being the fact that he already had children and he had daughters. What's up, Rice? um yeah, well, Anthony, I'm gonna answer that question in a few. Just remind me in case I forget. um the fact that he had children, he had been a father, he had two daughters. um he had a lot of patience with me. He had patience with me that most men didn't have, which made him so different. Like I said, I dated other guys prior. I've been with other guys, I had other relationships, but what made him different was he had a lot of patience with me. When he met me, I was really down and out. I was at one of my lowest points when he met me. He met me in a really bad season where I could not do for myself. I was in a bind. I was struggling. I had moved back to Savannah. Things wasn't working out in Connecticut. You know, I was going through that stage where I was rebelling with my father. Just graduated from high school, so you know my father told me I couldn't respect the rules. I had to leave, so I had to leave behind everything I had, all because I was rebelling. I was stubborn, and I was at that age in my life where I was smelling myself. Nobody couldn't tell me anything. I want to do what I want to do. So I left my life of stability because I had an awesome stepdad, which I call him my dad. I don't call him my stepfather, he's my father. I had a really stable life. He had everything situated for me, but I couldn't follow the rules. I was being rebellious. So I had to come back home and start all over. I had to leave everything. I had nice cars, I had a nice big old room, I had everything going for me, but my attitude was the problem. So when I came back home, I had to start all over from scratch basically, and I came here with practically nothing. And my husband at that time, he met me in a bad stage. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I only came down here with one suitcase with a few pieces of clothes and stuff. And I never forget, it was the little things that he did that let me know he was different. Um, me and my mom, we was living in her apartment and we was kind of bucking and not getting along. You know how it is, two women don't get along under the same roof for a long period of time. So we started going through changes and stuff, and she was doing her best, and me and him was dating at the time, so he knew I did not have a phone to call him long distance. So what he did was he gave me his calling card, so I was able to call him long distance. This was before all the cell phones and all this cash app and stuff came out. So not only that, he would always make time for me. He always made time for me. He always called me, checked on me. What you doing? You good? You hungry? You need anything? I'm in the neighborhood. Was grabbing some lunch. You want me to come by, swing and pick you up? You know, it was just the little things. He was so attentive. Um, mm, Excuse me. He was very attentive to me. And a lot of the guys prior, they was my type, but they was not attentive to me like he was attentive to me. There was a time where I didn't have any money to wash my clothes. Me and my mom's, you know, we had a lot of laundry that needed to be washed. And I remember I called him. I said, you know, I gotta wash clothes and I don't have a wash, I don't have a dryer. And it was embarrassing. You don't want somebody to know that you're in a struggle, but it was just that bad. I had to go to him and say, you know, this was going on. So he actually came to the house and he helped me load all the laundry in the back of his van, and we rode all the way to his house, and he let me stay to his house and wash clothes all day long. He didn't make me feel funny. He didn't look at me and make me feel bad about my situation. And when all the laundry was done, he helped me load it all back in. So all back in the van. So needless to say, my relationship with my husband went fast. I moved in with him after 2 months of knowing him. Wasn't a smart idea. I don't suggest no woman pull that crap today, but I did it. I moved in with my husband after only 2 months of knowing him. Um, and basically that's what happened. That's what made me change my mind. He was just different. My thing is, if a person treats you with enough of kindness and treats you with enough of, and make you feel like a woman or make you feel like a man, you will learn to overlook the things that normally would bother you. Because he was so kind to me, it didn't bother me that he had children because he was there for me no matter what. I didn't have a car. He brought me my first car when I came here. I didn't have shit, nothing. Um, to be honest with you, I didn't have nothing, and he accepted me at my worst. And when you have somebody who accepts you at your worst, it will make you overlook the stuff that normally would be a big deal to you. And that's what happened. So that's how I ended up being with him. And I've been with him 19 years. And we ended up having a daughter of our own. I think I got pregnant from him a year later. Our relationship moved really, really fast because we connected just that quickly. And it just wasn't forced. It was just natural. And he was in a broken place at the time too. We both was in a broken place. He just came out of a divorce with his wife, and I was struggling. So we both kind of we rescued each other because I rescued him in a sense too. Because he was going through changes with his divorce, and I was going through changes. So we both just kind of, you know, we both became a blessing to one another. So that's basically what happened with me and him. So yeah, so that's why I tell all you ladies and you men in here, you may have your own idea of what's your type of man or what's your type of woman, but I'm a living witness. I'm gonna tell you, sometimes your type is the person you would least expect. You know, we need to get out this fantasy land. I know women, we read all of these Essence magazines, 10 ways to pick the perfect man. And I know you men, y'all be in a barbershop having these man cave conversations in the barbershop. Yeah, I don't want this kind of woman. Oh, what's up, Rep? I didn't even see you in here. And what's up, Rice? Good to see you. I know y'all be hearing that barbershop talk. Oh, this kind of woman. Oh, that kind of woman. I don't want no fake woman. I don't want no woman with a bunch of kids. I don't want no. As long as they're a good woman, that's all that matters. If she treats you like a king and makes you feel special, It don't matter. You have to take the stereotypes out your head. And that's how come a lot of y'all blessings get blocked, because you have allowed people to program you with what they want you to believe is the ideal man or the ideal woman. That's that fantasy Walt Disney story mess. Don't fall for it. The reality is your dream woman may be working in the goddamn high school cafeteria. Your dream man may be driving dumpster trucks for a living. Sometimes your blessings come from where you least expect it. What's up, Felipe? So as long as you one of them people, you stubborn and you stuck in your ways and you want what you want instead of getting what's best for you, you want what you think is best for you, then guess what? You're just going to keep missing out on your blessings. And that's what it boils down to. I could have had that same attitude. I don't want a man with kids, but guess what? I would have never met my husband had I had that attitude. And I'm not going to say it was easy. I would not be lying to you if I didn't say it was challenging. I went through a lot, with his ex-wife being disrespectful and coming out of mouth all kind of way and, being shady and stuff. But over time, situations don't stay the same. Eventually the kids grow up. Everybody goes different directions. I mean, she ended up getting remarried herself, even though she's still a peasant to this day, life goes on. We're in a different place. We're older now. Everybody's older now. The kids are grown now. We don't have to deal with that child support and all that. That's over. You know what I'm saying? So don't knock somebody's current situation. Situations do change. Things don't stay the same forever. Just because you meet a brother and he's down, ladies, don't knock him, because that don't mean he's gonna always be there. Just because, guys, you meet a woman that's down, don't knock her. That don't mean she's gonna stay there. I mean, my husband had to help me get on my feet, and I didn't stay there. I went to school. I got on my second master's degree. I didn't stay to the bottom for long. So don't underestimate somebody's come up. Just because somebody's down for that moment, don't underestimate they come up. You don't know how things are going to work out in their favor later. What's up, Hershey kids? Good to see you. Some family members and friends are making some of you block your absolutely underrated darkness. Absolutely. Your family, your family could be public enemy number one. And you have to be very careful. Because they don't always have your best interests. They're not always rooting for you. Just because y'all have the same blood in your veins, blood ain't always thicker than water. Because sometimes when jealousy sets in, people will allow their jealousy to make them resent you, so you have to be careful, especially with family. So you just have to have your own mind and use your own intelligence when it comes to dealing when having a relationship, because everybody's not rooting for you. Everybody don't want you to win. Everybody don't want y'all relationship to progress. You got so many miserable people in this world. People don't want to see other people happy. That's just the bottom line. You have to accept the reality. Everybody don't want to see you happy. Rep says, but I don't want someone, and I don't have any. And I agree with that, Rep. Like I stated earlier, before you came in, the content is to not persuade anybody to date a woman with children or to date a man with children. Because like I was trying to tell these single mothers in here, Rep, earlier, single mothers should not get offended if a man says, I don't want to date a woman with kids. There's no need to get offended. Be glad that he's telling you that. I respect a man who will say, I don't want to date a woman who has children. Then for him to pretend that he wants to date her just to move in her house and pretend he wants to be with her just so he could get close to her daughter, so he can molest her daughter, molest her son. I will respect that. And a lot of single mothers need to be appreciative when a man is willing to be honest and say, I don't want to date you because you have too many children. Wouldn't you rather he be honest? Then you get serious with him, you catch feelings for him, you move him in your house, and he only moves in your crib because he wants to get close to your children in an inappropriate way, or he wants to use you. As Black women, we cannot get offended by a man's preference. If a man says, I don't want to date Black women, who am I to get upset about that? My thing is, I'm glad he told me, because don't let me catch feelings for you. Don't let me fall in love with you. Don't make me think we got something going And the truth of the matter is, you know you don't want to be with me like that. I'd rather you reject me up front and let me know I'm not what you're looking for than for you to fake the funk with me all these months and all of these years. I'm thinking we got something, and then you tell me, honestly, I don't want to be with you like that. So women, don't get offended at these brothers if they don't want to date you because you have children. It's all good, because there's some men out there who will. I know plenty of them. You just got to find a man that's going to accept your responsibilities and your baggage. But don't knock a brother because he say, I don't want a woman with kids. He got every right to say that. He got every right to choose who he wants to choose. And I respect a man who's honest and will tell a woman that up front, because you saving yourself a headache and you saving her a headache. It's all about being honest at the end of the day. Exactly, Crystal. So we don't waste each other's time. I don't understand why black women want to get offended if a man say, I don't like black women, or I don't like a woman with kids. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you for telling me. So I did not waste my time. I did not invest time. I did not invest feelings into someone who never had no intentions on being with me. I respect a man's honesty. Women, you can't expect a man to be honest, and then when he's honest, you want to get offended. You know, you meet a man and y'all vibe and he looks good, y'all having a good conversation, and y'all get to talking and he answers you that question. So do you have any children? Yes, I got kids. And he goes, well, how many kids do you got? Oh, I got 5 kids. And he says, well, you know what? You a nice girl. You cool and everything, but I can't see being with you like that. I'm just not in a woman that already got kids, you know. I'm just not in you. Why are you gonna get pissed? Oh, how dare you judge me? How's the man judging you? He being honest with you. What you want the man to do? Sit down and lie and tell you, oh, I love kids. You move him into your crib, he abusing your kids, talking to your kids all kind of way. Not saying rep would do that, but what would you want? You would want man to be brutally honest up front and tell you, then to lie to you and get your hopes up. I mean, come on, you can't have it both ways. You know, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a woman, I'm emotional. I know what it's like to get your feelings hurt. I've been told I'm not attractive enough from some men. I've been told I'm not skinny enough. Everybody not gonna be checking for you, boo, like that, and it's okay. It's been guys I rejected. My thing is, you can't get mad when somebody rejects you, because guess what? You have rejected other people. Okay, I'm sure every brother who asked for your phone number, you wasn't feeling them jokers like that. Like, oh no, his breath too stank. Oh, his breath came over here 10 minutes before he did. How can you do all the rejecting, but you don't want to be rejected? You are not the cat's meow. I don't care how fine and attractive you are, ladies, it's going to be a guy who's not checking for you like that. And in your mind, you're not going to understand it, because in your mind, you look good. You got a fat ass. You got this. I look good. How dare he not want me? He just don't want you. Maybe he don't have so many sisters with a fat ass too, where yours is irrelevant to him. He's looking for something different. He may have been that kind of dude once upon a time, but he's wiser now. He's probably looking for something better. Same thing with you women. You know, I don't care how good looking. I've stressed this. I've had nice looking men approach me and tried to hit on me. But if I'm not vibing with you, I don't care how good you look. It's a vibe. I go by the vibe that you carry. And if we're not vibing, we're not connecting. I don't care how good your dick game is or how fine you are. I'm not checking for you like that. We have to have a connection. And that's what it boils down to. I'm not going to force a connection to be there just to say I got a man, or just to say I got somebody, because there's too many people who do that. And what you do is you waste your time and you waste that person's time. You know, so again, you cannot figure because you look a certain way, you are entitled. We cannot be mad about people's preferences. Because like I said, I was one of them sisters. I didn't want a man with kids. So I understand where rep is coming from. I didn't want a man with kids. So I get it. And every man has a right to not want to date a single mom. And as a single mom, you shouldn't want a man to want you who will not accept and understand your situation. At least the man being honest. Respect that and keep it moving. Okay. Could you be a woman and not develop? Let me see. Like that, why you have to decide what you want need to make and not compromise it? Exactly, Rep. I agree. Anthony says, could you be with a woman and not develop attachments to their kids instead? Just be like a coach and mentor instead of daddy feelings. Anthony, I'm gonna tell you why that's not going to work. And that's a good question. And I'm glad you asking. Anthony says, this is his question. Could you be with a woman and not develop attachments to their kids? Instead, just be a coach, mentor, island instead of daddy's kid feelings. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Because the problem is, again, you have to be honest with you. Like Rep said he doesn't want to be with a woman who has children already. Now, keep in mind, if Rep was to try to make an exception and figure, let's say if Rep decides he likes a woman, he so happened, which I know Rep wouldn't, but I'm just using Rep as a prop right now. And he connects with a woman and they hit it off pretty good, but she has children. If he tries to compromise his real feelings and figure he can just connect with her and not connect with the children, he's cheating himself and he's cheating the kids. And the reason I say that is because if he knows he does not want to be a daddy, he's going to get irritated because children don't understand. Children don't have a sensor as to if this man is just a mentor for me or if he's trying to be my dad. Kids cannot decipher that. The way a child looks at it, if you are with their mom, you got to look at it from a child's eyes, okay? If you waking up every morning next to their mama, y'all in the same house together, y'all always going places together, y'all always doing things together, a child is not going to associate that you're just a coach or a mentor. That child is not going to associate that. Eventually, that child is going to associate you as a daddy because you're always around the mama. Okay? You got to look at it, like I said, look at it from a kid's point of view. You got to think like a child. That child is not going to be able to decipher that. So even though in your mind, you don't have no intentions of trying to gain feelings as a daddy or whatever, but when that child starts seeking you for attention because you were their mom, you know, they miss and call you daddy, they start getting attached to you because it's not so much you catching feelings, that child may catch feelings. Does that make any sense to anybody in this chat room? Even though your objective is to just kind of be like a coach or a mentor, that's your mission. But the kid is not going to understand that. That child is going to catch feelings for you, even though you may not catch feelings for that child. Does that make any sense to anyone in here, or do I need to break that down a little bit more? So you actually taking a gamble doing that. Don't go into situations to like that with a man, with a woman who has children, and you think you could separate and just kind of be like a mentor and not have to play daddy role. That's not going to work, especially if you're living in her house and those kids see you every day. You're going to end up doing daddy things. You get what I'm saying? When the woman you with, that child has a play or has a baseball tournament or something coming up, guess what? If you with the woman, she's going to look for you to come with her. You know, it's that child gonna always see you with their mama, and they're gonna associate you as their daddy. And in some cases, these children will call you daddy, and you're not even prepared for that, all because you're with their mama. You know what I mean? So it happens. You're going to end up. You cannot be with somebody who has kids and will not become a parent. It's not going to happen. Know how I know? Because I tried to do it. You can't separate it. The only way you can kind of separate it somewhat is when the children are bigger and grown and are moved out. Okay. And they married and got kids of their own and they just come and visit y'all during the holidays or something like that. But if they are young children and they are not moving from up under their mama out their mama's nest no time soon, you're going to end up playing daddy. And it's no way around it. I promise you it's going to happen. So no, I don't recommend if you get in that situation, don't get in the situation if you just want to be a mentor or you just want to be a coach. Coach, as I, like Rep says, that's true. You can't be a coach and a mentor, but yet you smashing the mama. That's not gonna happen. That child wakes up every day and see you walking around with your boxers on, see knowing you in the room banging his mom out. You always with his mama. Y'all always places together and doing things. That child gonna associate you as their dad sooner or later. It's gonna happen. Anthony says valid point, but when the kid says you ain't my daddy when they get older, I think it's time to be a coach. That's the chance you take, Anthony, being a step parent. That's why a lot of people choose not to deal with somebody who has children. You got men that would not deal with single mothers, and you got women who would not date men who have children from previous marriages or relationships because it can get sketchy. The same child you've been raising all these years could turn around and tell you, "What's up, EE? How you doing? I'm glad you stopped by. Good to see you, boo." Um, the thing about it is it can backfire. I've known people who got in relationships with people who already had kids, and they call themselves trying to be the stand up dude or the stand up woman, and to turn around years down the line and be disrespected and say, you're not my mother, you're not my dad, and it happens. That's the other thing about being a step parent. That's the other thing that people don't think about. You can get attached to these kids. You can get attached to them. You can get connected to them, and you start to see them as your own child. And when that child turns around and disrespect you because they let the other ex, they let their mama, which is the ex or the bitter baby mama, influence them into not liking you, your feelings could get hurt. Um, that's the bad thing about it. So that's something else you have to think about when it comes to step parenting, Anthony. And I'm definitely glad you asked me these questions. It's just something you don't want to take a chance. Um, Rep says that mentor better bring that check home and help take care and help take care of his step players. And it happens, Anthony. You're not. I tell people you're not going to be with somebody who got kids and don't help them. It's not going to happen. Eventually, they're going to look for you to help them. I don't care how much they start off and say, "Oh, I don't need your help. I mean, I'm already getting child support. I got a job. I don't need nobody to help." Don't fall for it. Eventually, that woman gonna look for you to help. And same thing with you women. If you deal with a guy who got kids, I don't care how many times he say, "I don't need your help. I got it under control." Them kids come to the house or the kids come over, you have to do something. You can't stand there and let him do it all. You want to have to step in at some point and interact with those kids and do things with those kids. Even if it boils down to making them some food, even if it boils down to giving them a ride to school. You're not going to be able to be with somebody who has children and not help them with their baggage. It's not going to happen. I don't care what they tell you. Yes, Anthony, and it is an ultimate form of betrayal. Um, but yeah, as I was stating, because I know I'm kind of all over the place. It's too many sons that are becoming the new substitute husbands. For with their mothers. You single moms have to be very careful when you allow your sons to take charge and be the man of the household. The moment you get in a relationship and you get serious with somebody and now you want to live a life of your own, your son is going to resent that. If you allowed him to have too much authority over that house, he's working, paying the bills. You done made your son your man crush Monday. You done made your son your man crush Tuesday. You give him all these husbandly responsibilities, you know, You treat him like a king. You fix his plate of food. You doing all this and doing all that. The moment you want a man of your own, he's going to resent that man because you have given him that title for too long. So he's going to resent any man who comes in that house and tries to run that house. He's going to make it very difficult for you. So why some of these single moms think it's cute that they making their sons their man crush Monday and all this other stuff, what they're not realizing is they're creating a monster. These young men not going to know their place when you get a real man to come in the house, you know. Anthony says, so does staying in separate households kill the daddy mode from going into full effect then? To a certain degree, but if you're in a relationship with her, that's not going to work either. Because whenever you do see her or deal with her, especially if she has little children and they're nowhere near old enough to move out and go to college to get a job, that's not going to work. I'll say that again. Do not get in a relationship with somebody if you already are looking for ways to separate and not have to deal with their children. It's not a good look. It's just best to not get in relationships like that. If you have to figure out how can you separate not having to deal with the kids, it's just best not to be in that situation. Don't deal with a woman, don't deal with a man who has kids if you got to try to already figure out how to separate yourself from having to deal with them. It's going to cause problems later. Crystal says, so true. I know a woman who dated a man with 3 children and she had none. Those children had lived with them 2 years. I'm telling you, Crystal, it happens. It happens. That's why don't pretend to be something you're not, because it can come back to haunt you. You know you're not a man who wants to deal with a woman with children, and you do so, God forbid, you get burnt out your apartment, or the woman you care about, she loses her house, you love her, you care about her, you're not going to want her out in the street. And if she got kids with her, she's going to have to move in with you and all her kids. You cannot, again, do not take a chance to be with somebody who has kids and thinking you're never going to have to deal with the kids, because something's going to happen. God forbid. I know situations where women who didn't want to be with a man who had kids, and for a while the relationship worked out because the kids were staying with the mom and they didn't have to see them a lot. But when that mother died and passed away, the kids got to go to their father if he's still living. See, this is stuff people don't think about. Something happens to the kids' other parent, they may end up having to move in with you. Or that parent is abusive or something like that, and deep fact says, hey, we realize she's not capable of being a good parent for these children. We're gonna have to move them out the home. Either you gonna get them or we're gonna put them in foster home. What you gonna do? This your mate kids, and you know it's gonna destroy them. You know your man or your woman ain't not gonna want their kids staying in some foster home. It happens. I mean, one time I was dating a sister, and one time she said she was going on a date with a son, but I'm very strange. I'm telling you, a lot of these women in the Black community, not all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But that's the purpose of this content. It's a lot of women that are making their sons their husbands. And you know what? You know why another reason why some of these women are doing that? Do you not realize that some of these women are still in love with the father? Do y'all not believe that? Do you not realize that that son still resembles the man she's still in love with? Do y'all not understand that? You have some women that are so infatuated with the father of their child. You got some women so infatuated with their baby daddy, and if that son looks just like the baby daddy she's still in love with, she'll gravitate towards that son like he's the baby father. And he's not the baby father, he's just the son. Some women are so in love with their baby father, and if that son looks like that baby father, she'll gravitate towards him. I've seen it. I've seen this one female, her husband had divorced, and he just couldn't deal with it no more. They had like 5 kids together, and she has like three, I think like two sons and two daughters, whatever the case is. And what happened was they divorced, and he went his separate way. Her husband moved on, ex-husband moved on, got him another wife, started a new life. And I noticed when her and her husband divorced, she really started gravitating towards her son. And I noticed that her son was a splitting image of his father, like his identical twin. Identical. And don't you know, y'all, she would go on social media and brag about her son like he was her man. She was so in love with the fact that her son looked like the man she used to be in love with. Some women are just that desperate. They will fall in love with the son only because the son symbolizes the father. And to me, that's close to incestuous behavior. So I won't be surprised, underrated darkness. Now, I haven't heard about it, but I won't be surprised because, hell, these days, what they ain't doing, what they not doing. This world's so sick, if they could get pregnant from their own sons, they would. People just crazy. You got a lot of psychologically damaged people out there that would do anything. TMC said they just their sons the same way. I was just getting ready to say that, TMC. Gucci shoes and jeans. I'm telling you, these women are still, a lot of these baby mamas are still in love with their baby daddy. And because they know they can't have the baby daddy, they will get the next best thing, which is the son. They will do that. A lot of them will do that, and if not biologically, like I've known some cases where a man may be with a woman and they may not have any kids together, they break up, she'll get with his son just because that son reminds her of a younger version of the man she's still in love with. A lot of it's sad, but incest does exist. Incest does exist. It just does. And like I said, a lot of this has to do with when desperation sets in for a woman, her desperation will cloud her judgment. Her desperation will cloud her common sense. It's very important that as a Black woman, you don't become so lonely to the point that you will let your desperation manipulate you into doing things that are inappropriate. I don't care how fine your son is. I don't care how good looking he is. That is your son. That's not your man. That's not your husband. You don't need to be touching on him in an inappropriate way. You don't need to be posting pictures of him all over your Facebook like he's your man. It's not a good look. It doesn't look good. What's up, T. Harris? I used to work with someone that treated her son like a husband. It's a lot of them. I'm telling you, Hershey. It's a lot of women that do that. It's a turnoff. I can't stand to see a grown-ass woman bragging about her son like her son is her man. It's terrible. Something is psychologically wrong with you, mom, for you to be infatuated with your own damn son. You need to see a doctor. Underrated says, I had a best friend that in high school, his friend told him that he was having sex with his mother. That was a long time ago. He said, and like I said in the chat, I heard stories about this. I'm telling you, ancestors on the rise. Stop looking at your son. My thing, I'm telling you, let me tell y'all something. I seen this one woman post a picture of her son with his shirt off, and she said, "Ain't my son sexy?" I'm like, you's a sicko. That's what you are. You sick. You up here lusting over your own son. Come on, man. Ladies, I know times are getting hard. I know it's getting harder and harder to find a good man, especially when you got all kind of responsibilities and all the baggage. But please don't get so desperate where you lusting over your own son. It's not a good look. Yes, Anthony Dunlop. I'm sure there's a lot of women who are. As much as we don't believe it, they exist. Hershey says the way she talked about him and would also walk in on him. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, listen, the devil is busy, man. The devil will play you on your desperation. You could become so dick deprived that your son walking around. Let me not go there. Let me be quiet. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. Do not let the devil tempt you to where you are lusting over your own son. That's not a good look, ladies. If you lusting over your own son, you need some psychological help. You got you got not only incestuous tendencies, you got pedophile tendencies because your son is younger than you. You need counseling. She said she would get mad. I think she was low-key trying to have relations with her son. I won't be surprised. It's a lot of women, I'm telling you, and you may be in a situation. Let me tell you, ladies, something. If you're in a situation with a really jealous mother-in-law, you might want to check your husband's resume. You better check and make sure he ain't been with his mama like that. If she's extremely jealous, she acts like a nasty ex-wife towards you with her own son. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. She up here having an attitude. She don't like you, and you ain't never did nothing to her. I don't know. Cause a lot of these people, they got all kind of incestuous stuff that happened in their family, and they not gonna tell you. Tizzy says, Eopus complex is when a boy obsessively loves his mother, but when the mother deeply loves her, it's called a Jocasta. Oh, you know what? I'm going to look into that, TMEC. Thank you for informing me of that. I'm going to screenshot that because I want to do my research on that. Thank you. That's very knowledgeable information because I'm curious. I want to learn about that. It's not healthy. When a mother and a son is in love with each other, and it's one thing to love your mom and you love your son, but when you are infatuated, is there some infatuation there? That's kind of suspect to me. I'm just saying, Torian. I don't know, ladies. If your mother-in-law, your man mama, she looking at you nasty, like she want to cut your throat every time she see you with her son. I don't know. I have to look into that a little deeper. I don't trust that. He admitted asking her to marry him, and he would drink behind her and where her lipstick was looking. Yep, you're right. Hershey Kiss. R. Kelly did say that. He did say that. I don't get it. And to me, it's a spirit. What it is, it's a demonic spirit, y'all. It's a demonic spirit. Y'all have to realize we are in our last days. Satan is pulling a lot of stunts. Okay. Satan has orchestrated things the way he orchestrated them for a reason. It's a reason why there's so many single mother households. And it's a reason why so many men are becoming less and less drawn to women who have children. And as a woman, you still have desires. As a woman, you still desire to be loved. You still desire to be wanted. And when you can't get that from a man outside of your home, if you're not careful and desperation sets in, you can find yourself having inappropriate desires for your son. And I know what I'm saying is very disturbing, but we have to keep it real. We have to keep it 100. Ain't no need of lying about it. You are human. Don't think desperation can't happen to you, because the enemy knows how to play you on your weaknesses. And he knows, as a woman, women, we love attention. Women, we love to be desired. Women love to be desired. But it should never get to the point to where you love being desired. You love being desired to the point to where you are participating in inappropriate incestuous activities. Just one moment, everyone, because I keep getting freaking calls. 1 second. I'm just taking a quick phone call, everyone. Just 1 second. Make sure it's not an emergency. Okay, all right, I am back. All right. Anyhow, as I was stating, we have to be careful that we don't let desperation set in, um, because the enemy knows how to play you on your weaknesses. Single mothers, I definitely commend them for having to pretty much hold the fort down on their own. I know it can be very challenging at times because you have to be the mommy and the daddy. But at the same token, you cannot let desperation get the best of you to where you start lusting inappropriately um after your own son, after people that you know you just have to be very careful that you don't let desperation take over. You get desperate, you lusting after your son, you having inappropriate feelings for him, you're taking it personal, you're getting offended. Um, when your son is dating somebody, your son wants to get married. What's up, information man? Did not see you. Yeah, I just had a call or whatever, right quick. I decided to do this topic, information man, because you actually brought up a good point yesterday, and information is definitely very phenomenal. I would suggest anybody check out his channel. He gives a lot of insight on some things. I mean, he had my brain just like just opening. He really opened my brain pores. He penetrated my soul with so much knowledge. And one thing I like, I've never been drawn to a guy to so much how a man looks. I've always been drawn to how a man can spiritually feed me intelligently. I've always been drawn to men that have a high level of intelligence, that are very intellectual and very um deep in their thoughts and their outlook and their perceptions in life. And he definitely gave a lot of insightful information. He's definitely a deep brother, like as many of the guys that are in my chat room as well. And it's very important as black men and the black women that we feed each other knowledge. We feed each other knowledge, and we feed each other wisdom, because that is really what's needed in the black community. But I'm worried about these single moms out here. You're giving your sons too much responsibilities. Not only are y'all making y'all sons the men of the head of the household, some of y'all are taking it too far to the point to where you are lusting over your sons. You are speaking about your sons in ways that's inappropriate that a mother shouldn't be doing. A mother shouldn't be sitting up here talking about how sexy your son is. A woman shouldn't be saying how sexy your son is, how fine your son is, how good looking your son is. I shouldn't see a woman posting pictures of her son with his shirt off on her Instagram. And I see so many, and I ain't trying to be funny, but it's the single mothers that do it. I'm not trying to be funny. I know single moms, y'all hate being called out for all kind of stuff, but not all of y'all are doing it. If it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. But some of y'all going too far with this Man Crush Monday crap. You don't need to be posting your son on your social media talking about how good he looks. I seen a woman do it. Single mother, she did that crap. She talked about how fine her and sexy her son was. Well, her fine and sexy son is in prison for shooting somebody else's child. And that's the thing about it. What these black women have to understand is, just because you treat your son like a man, by you being a woman, you have not given him all the tools that it takes for him to really be a man. So even though you're putting him up here on the pedestal and you're talking about how fine he looks, how sexy he is, he does not have all the manly abilities he needs, especially if he doesn't have a father in our household. Because as women, we can only give our sons but so much. That masculinity, the fathers have to step in and balance that out. And that's the reason why we have what's called a lot of man child. We have a lot of men children. We have a lot of men that are acting like children. And a lot of it is not their fault. It's the fact that they have a single mother who had to be the mama and a daddy. And she would not allow that father to be there, maybe because the father didn't want her. And it's a lot of women that are doing that. A lot of women would not let the fathers of their children be involved in their life, in their children's lives, because they're resenting the father who don't want to be with them. And some of these women got an attitude: if you want to be a part of my son and my daughter's life, you got to be with me. And it doesn't work that way. And it's a lot of women who will cheat their children out of having a father, all because you and your feelings, because you don't have a man. You want the man to be with you. You don't want the man to just come by and see his kids, spend time with his kids, and go on about his business. You want this man to be with you. And I see a lot of these single moms that get attitude. Oh, so you just gonna come over here and see and come get him? That's all you coming to get? You ain't coming to get nothing else? Thank you, Donetta, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's why a lot of these young black men are going to constantly be getting cheated. What's up, Frito? Good to see you. Thank you for making it into the chat room. Let it go on by. Exactly, EE. These women have to understand, just because a man has a child from you, he don't owe you anything else. Only thing he might owe you is child support if that's court ordered. He don't have to be with you. And when he get his kids, he ain't got to bring you along and all of that other stuff. It's called being a grown woman about stuff. The thing about it, as black women, we cannot choose to be grown where we want to be grown at, and then we could be childish in other areas of our life. If you want to be a grown woman, you got to be a grown ass woman all the way around. You don't be grown where you feel like being grown, when you feel like being grown, and how you feel like being grown. Things don't work out in a relationship. People go their separate ways. If the man is remarried, the man got a new woman, or whatever the case is, as long as your children are not suffering and struggling, that is all that matters. He does not owe you anything else. These baby mamas got a sense of entitlement. They feel like because they had children from a man, that gives them a one-up. That gives them some type of ownership. That doesn't give you no ownership. The only thing y'all both have is those children together. Nothing else. Exactly, Torian, and I get it. It doesn't come as a package deal. So you sometimes it's called pulling up your big girl panties, pulling up your grown woman panties. Pull up your grown woman panties and learn to get out your feelings. Stop being mad about stuff you can't change. Even if he was wrong, even if he was the one who messed the relationship up, you can't go around here holding bitterness hostage in your heart, because you block out your blessings when you do stuff like that. And the thing about it is other brothers out here not going to be able to deal with you, because you holding all this bitterness hostage in your heart for the man that you felt like disappointed you, and you taking that out on every man who has nothing to do with what you're going through. And the problem is, as Black women, not only do we take our bitterness and our frustration out on other Black men, we take our bitterness out on each other. I had to end recently, and all of you probably already heard about it if you caught my last couple of contents. I had to end damn near 23, 24-year-old friendship. I had to end that friendship because she was taking out her bitterness and her anger out on me for a relationship, her marriage that failed her. And as women, we can't be walking around here with a chip on our shoulder. Don't be behind Waffle House having an attitude, getting nasty, taking somebody's order, all because you have a chip on your shoulder. You know, don't be going around here labeling all Black men as being dogs because you did not make the best of decisions in the men that you have chosen. And it go both ways around. And we talked about this Information Man and LMP and the other young lady in here, LEMC. We all talked about this. There's too many Black men and Black women that are scorned. Y'all are walking around here with a chip on your shoulder. Not only are y'all upset with, really the truth of the matter is, y'all are taking and venting all y'all frustration out on everybody else, when really the truth of the matter is you mad with yourself. You are mad with the decisions that you made. If there's a Black man going around here resenting and hating all Black men, women, I don't know what that Black woman did to you. I don't know what your baby mama did to you. I don't know if she won't take you off child support. I don't know if the mother, Black woman who gave birth to you, did not love you, did not treat you well. I don't know what it is, my brother, that has you hating so many Black women. But until you get healed, until you get some spiritual cleansing from that, you're going to keep losing out on a Black woman who can be there for you, who can love you, who can care about you. Because despite what you may feel, all of us are not enemies. All Black women are not trying to be your enemies. Okay? We're not trying to be your enemies. Yes, there's some sisters that's out here that's acting up, that's making it hard for us. But that's that you don't need to take your own negative experiences and apply it to everybody. And it's the same thing with the sisters out here. You're on your fourth or fifth baby daddy. You don't need to be sitting up here saying all Black men ain't crap. What is wrong with you? Why are you on baby daddy number 5 or number 6? Okay, as Black men and as Black women, we have to learn accountability. That accountability is the key. It's so easy to go around here hating and being angry with the rest of the world. I told a very close friend of mine at the end of 24-year-old friendship with her, because I told her, you know what? I can't be friends with you no more because you bitter. You have allowed your own personal circumstances, your own negative experiences, you have allowed it to contaminate you. You are bitter. You are hateful. I cannot do this friendship anymore. You are around here taking it out on me because I'm in a good space in my marriage. Not to say my marriage is perfect. Not to say I went through things, because I have. But because I'm in a space doing a little bit better than you for the moment, you're going to throw shade and bring up stuff in my past that had nothing to do with what your current situation is. And there's too many sisters out here that are doing that, which is why as Black women, we can't even be genuine to one another, because there's a lot of hurt and bitter sisters. They don't want to see the next sister win. If you down in the dumps, they want you to be down on the dumps. And what people have to realize, life is like a seesaw. We all not going to be up at the same time, but we all not going to be to the bottom at the same time. Sometimes I may be in my winning period and you may be in your losing period. Guess what? If we're friends, we're going to celebrate each other, regardless of who winning or who's losing at that point in time. Because guess what? My loss today may be your loss tomorrow. My win today may be your win tomorrow. But you can't walk around here, ladies and gentlemen, because somebody did you wrong, because somebody played you, or you put yourself in the position to be played. You want to hold everybody captive to that. It's not right and it's not fair. You need to go in your prayer closet, pray for God to take that spirit of anger and animosity off of you. You need to be on somebody's altar, praying hard and asking God to deliver you from that spirit, because you're blocking your own blessings and you're stunting your growth through your own hatred, your own animosity, and your own bitterness. You're not going to get ahead being mean and being evil. And at the end of the day, regardless of how much of that venom you spitting out, it's not going to get you to the next best place in life. You're blocking your blessings when you do stuff like that. I hear you 24 years for Yep, I had to end it. A lot of baby women aren't dealing with they point, they figure out everyone else. And that's just a problem that we have in the Black community. We will not take accountability. It's gonna always be somebody else's fault. Underrated says, I refuse to be a victim. She's not going to win. I'm talking about the women that are not doing the right thing, vice versa. I want the blessings, I want to see myself with a Black woman. Absolutely. You cannot allow, because you've had so many bad experiences with Black women, you cannot label all Black women the same way. And that's the same thing for Black women. Just because you kept picking up bum dudes, you kept picking up scrubs and thugs, you want to go around here hating every Black man, like every Black man did you wrong. No, it was the man you chose. Rep says half-ass cooking my waffles. She done lost. Rep, I'm not in the mood for you today. I'm serious. But absolutely. But yeah, I appreciate you for coming in. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get ready to shut it down. I just thought it was very imperative that I shared this message with y'all. We, as Black women of the community, we need to realize your son is not your substitute husband. He's your son. Allow this man to be allow your son to be a young man. Let him live his life. Let him enjoy his youth. Don't go placing all of these manly responsibilities on your son because you're confusing him. He's not mentally capable. I don't care how big his chest is, how big his biceps is. He could be 12 years old and 6'7". He is still the child. Do not make your son your man. Let him live his life so he can become a blessing to another young woman out there who eventually is going to marry him. Some of you women, y'all have created monsters with y'all sons. And this is the reason why some of these young men cannot grow up. Some of these young men cannot develop correctly. They don't have all the masculine abilities they need. Is because some of these single moms are not providing their sons with the right type of training he needs to be a productive man. And if you are not allowing a father to be there in his life because you're upset with the father because he has moved on or he doesn't want you, realize that you're doing a disservice to your sons and to your daughters. You're doing a disservice to your children when you will not allow their fathers to come around, all because you have your own personal animosities. How you feel about that man has nothing to do with how that man connects with his daughters or connects with his sons. It's very important. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Black community, we need to learn to get out of our feelings. We need to learn to stop being so offended. Learn how to apply truth so it can make us better men. It can make us better women. And that's what it boils down to. But anyway, it has definitely been real. I thank each and every one of y'all for coming in and hanging out with me today. Don't forget the man who really paved the way, Martin Luther King. Definitely, I give him the utmost respect. Had it not been for him, as Black men and Black women, we would not have the privileges that we have today. So while you're up here complaining and bitching about stuff that's not even that serious, think about how far we have come. And I understand racism does still exist, and I understand that There's things we're still being cheated out of as black men and as black women, but it's okay. Don't look at how far we got to go. Look at how far we have come, y'all. So, and I know it has definitely been real, and I definitely want to thank all of my subscribers who been rocking with me from day one since I started my channel. You're still riding with your girl. I thank you for your loyalty. I really appreciate you for having my back. To all of my new subscribers, I thank you for joining Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. I'm grateful to have you as a part of have you on my team, and I hope that I look forward to you, continuing this journey with me. And for those of you who have just been in here, this is your first time ever experiencing my content, ever coming to my channel, and you like today's content, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. Those who want to donate, you don't have to. I don't require it. If God puts it in your heart to do so, so be it. If not, I'm still gonna love you anyway. I'm gonna still continue to keep serving you wisdom and knowledge and spiritual awareness like I've been doing. So again, on that note, it is your girl, Lady Mocha, and remember, I'm gonna always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.